Welcome back, troglodytes, to Would You Rock or Not. Today, we are looking at a $1 million guitar that is on Reverb. This is apparently a Drake Bell autographed Fender guitar. Okay, so this one was suggested to me in the comments section by Alex Crimson. He said I should totally check out this Squire Strat that's $100,000. Now apparently the price has risen by 10 times that amount, but here we have a guitar that is signed by Drake Bell. Now if you don't know who Drake Bell is, I don't blame you, because unless you were kind of like a kid in that mid-2000s era, you've probably never watched the show Drake and Josh. That show was on Nickelodeon, and it's basically about two families conjoining. They were stepbrothers, Drake and Josh. They had opposite personalities, where Drake was the more outgoing guitar playing guy, whereas Josh was introverted and more mature. Now, I remember watching and or listening to this show at my dad's house. Back then, I was horribly addicted to a site called Neopets, but I give that site all the credit for where I learned all my business tactics from. Studying business 4 years in college, absolutely worthless. Playing Neopets for 18 hours a day for 7 years straight, that is where I learned all the core principles of business. But back to Drake and Josh here. Drake was seen many times in this show playing a guitar. Now this was before I played guitar, so I never realized just how many different guitars this guy had. The first one is a red Strat that's very similar to the one that's currently for sale, but if we zoom in here you can see it's actually unbranded, so I'm not sure who made that guitar. Now this one's interesting. He's playing a 2000s Gibson Les Paul Classic. I'm guessing this guitar was very close to being new at the time of filming the show. He's also been seen with a black Squire Strat, and this acoustic guitar that he plays in his #1 fan episode, there's actually kind of a funny story behind it. Because in this episode he was due to play on air, but he kind of made his #1 younger fan upset with him, so he ended up ditching the radio gig. But look right here, 12 string. When he actually goes to play for that little girl, this guitar magically becomes a 6 string. But here's the photo we're looking for this episode. Here is Drake with a red Squire Strat with a perloid pickguard. Now when I first saw this listing, I thought, okay, so this is just a crazy guy. He knows he's full of it. I mean, look at his shipping price, convenient number, and then look what string he has missing. Once again, convenient. So I just thought this was just any regular Squire Strat that somebody just wrote Drake Bell on. Now the second time I read this listing, I swear the guy said that this was the exact guitar in the recordings of the show. So at that point I thought, okay, a normal Squire Strat, you're running anywhere from $100 to about $300. So I could see a huge fan of the show being willing to pay around $500 to $600 for an actual show-used guitar. However, after reading the description again, it's not. It's just a Squire Strat. So this is just your basic beginner model Stratocaster. It's been signed by Drake Bell, which, you know, for some people might be a cool thing, but he's kind of hit himself on hard times. After the show was canceled, his career never really went anywhere. He's filed for bankruptcy. He broke his wrist, so he can't really even play guitar anymore. His whole career just kind of unfortunately went down the drain, and he also tried to get Justin Bieber deported back to Canada. So quite a few bad career moves on his part afterwards, so I don't necessarily think his signature is worth a lot. Now Josh Peck, his partner on the show, he started off as kind of a chubbier guy, and as the show progressed, he went through this major life transformation where he just shed hundreds of pounds off of him. I remember being slightly upset by that. However, thinking back, that's really bad. Josh's career has actually blossomed. He's been in many voice acting gigs, and he's on YouTube now. He has his own channel. I'll leave a link in the description. But yes, this is just a standard Squire Strat with a signature on it by a children's show actor. Now, what I do like about this seller is he clearly has a sense of humor and he's full of himself with this price and he knows it. Speaking of nose, he happened just to get a picture of Drake Bell picking his nose right after he signed this guitar. And here's the actual photo of Drake signing this guitar. Even this guy's listing is kind of satirical. He calls Drake Bell the king of rock and roll. I do believe that title is generally given to Elvis. And the guy calls it probably the most valuable instrument for sale ever. He's probably willing to make a deal. Now the funny thing is, this guitar is located about an hour from me, so I could pick this guitar up if I wanted to, but for $1 million, it's gonna be a no from me. The seller doesn't have any sound clips of him playing this guitar, so here's a different one of a different Squire Stratocaster. The only question left, would you rock the $1 million Drake Bell autographed Fender or not? Leave your answer down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.